let us discuss about GPS receiver architecture. This is the figure of generic GPS receiver. This is antenna, band pass filter, amplifier, and this is the first mixer, band pass filter, amplifier, second mixer, band pass filter, amplifier, A to D converter. This is RF stage. This is first IF stage from this mixer to this mixer, and this is second IF stage. You can remember this in this way: BAM BAM BAA. I have written here bam bam bam, and this together is called as front end. The output of this front end will be, see here in the last block we are having A to D converter, so digital signal will be coming from here. Let us discuss about this in great detail. The GNS receivers are responsible for processing L-band signals in space. Signal in space I have represented as SIS coming from the GNSS satellites. Each satellite transmits a continuous signal in gigahertz range modulated by a periodic digital code. Periodic digital code, also called as pseudo random noise code or PRN code, and further modulated with the data message. User receivers search for the presence of these radio signals that travel through space and try to synchronize with them. In this way, a GNSS receiver can be seen as a radio navigation user device that aims at tracking the GNSS signals in order to correctly demodulate and extract the measurements and navigation information. One example is to decode the transmitted navigation message and calculate the user's position. Now let us see the receiver overview. Although receiver architectures are tailored to different GNSS systems available and to different target applications, the basic building blocks of the generic GNSS receiver are: we have seen antenna, an L-band antenna. It will capture the GNSS signals, noise, and possible interference. The front end typically down converts, filters, amplifies, and digitizes the incoming signals. Baseband signal processing. Several signal processing routines are used to acquire and track the different signals. Applications processing. Depending upon the envisaged application, the receiver performs the different tasks with the resulting GNSS information and provides meaningful results to the user. These are the signals in space: RF antenna, radio frequency. Usually this will give the very low frequency signals to the front end. Now this front end, the final block of this front end is A to D converter, so the format will be in digital. Next, baseband processing. This block, baseband processing, it will give us the measured data. And next, this application processing, it will give us the position, velocity, and time. In a typical receiver implementation, the signals in space arriving at the antenna are down converted, filtered, and digitized in the front end section. I already told you this. This process ultimately generates a baseband representation of the desired GNSS spectrum, yielding the samples as real and complex components, namely I and Q. I is nothing but in phase and Q is nothing but quadrature components in the baseband. The baseband signal processing gathers all the algorithms to find and allow a visible GNSS signal by means of synchronization to the known PRN code and removes errors as best as possible. This process is built around the principle of signal correlation. The incoming signal is repeatedly correlated with a replica of the expected PRN code, which is known as priori. To extract valid significance from the correlation, the local replica is generated in the receiver, taking into account the signal carrier frequency, code delay, Doppler frequency and PRN code, which is unique to each satellite or signal. The correlation principle is first used to search the satellites in view. After receiver starts operating, it first needs to know which satellite are in view and can be tracked for extracting the measurements. This process is known as acquisition, and it is based on several correlations between the incoming signal and multiple replicas of the possible expected signals generated for different code delays and Doppler frequencies. In fact, because the signal is originated by moving satellites, there is a Doppler and code delay effect observed in the received signals. Therefore, the first two unknowns in detecting GNSS signal is the amount of delay and relative motion between the transmitted signal and the receiver. To search for the signals, different local replicas corresponding to different code delay or Doppler frequency pairs are generated and correlated with the input signals. When the local replica and the incoming signals are aligned, their correlation generates a peak, and the code delay or Doppler frequency pair corresponding to this peak is assumed to be a good estimate to initialize the tracking process. In the tracking loops, correlations are also used to refine the local replica generation so as to match as best as possible the incoming signal. The correlation results are then applied to support the different tracking loops in providing a measurement of tracking quality. Typically, the receiver tracks each signal using dedicated channels running in parallel, where each channel tracks one signal. That is, for single frequency users, each channel tracks one satellite, providing pseudo range and phase measurements, as well as navigation data and additional signal information such as C/N0 carrier to noise ratio. After correctly tracking the signals and returning the measurements and data to application processing block, the receiver uses the information from the tracking loops for different purposes: for computing its own position and velocity, to perform the transfer time, or to simply collect the data to be post processed in the ground station. And the next, trade-offs and limitation. The design and selection of a GPS receiver type is tightly linked to target user application. For example, a multi-constellation GNSS receiver will certainly improve solution availability, critical for instance in urban environments. Whereas if the user application is focused on improved accuracies, then the selected receiver will probably turn to carrier based technologies or differential and augmented solutions. The choice is usually a result of trade off analysis that take into account several factors such as target application, performance, accuracy, power consumption, or cost. This is all about GPS receiver or architecture. Thank you.